Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So it's Black History Month and I've really been wanting to read Black poetry. So in this video, I'll be reading books by Black poets, really just poetry books, and I want to read from all of the diaspora. So I'm just, Black poets, that's who I'm reading from this month. This right here, this little bookshelf over here in this corner by the door is my poetry bookshelf. And every time I walk in the door and I walk past it, I look at the books and there's a part of me that's just really fiending for reading some poetry this month. So I'm going to spend this week reading poetry books, and it is my great hope and goal that I will spend one day on a poetry book and end the week with 7 poetry books read. So this is my plan. I'm planning to read 2000 Blacks by Ajibola Tolase. So here we are. This one, I believe this won the Cave Canem Poetry Prize, which is like a big prize for poetry. So I'm really excited to read this. I don't know much about it, but I saw the title and I was just really drawn in. Next, I have Finna by Nate Marshall. This is, I picked this up because I was flipping through it and I think I was just like caught by some of the opening lines. So in the first poem, it starts with, "Before we got started, we would like to acknowledge that we live on some unceded bones." And I was like, okay, yes. So I picked this up. This also has blurbs by Hanif Abdurraqib and Patricia Smith and Roxane Gay. So it's going to be great. I know it. This is Other People's Comfort Keeps Me Up at Night by Morgan Parker. I've had this on my TBR for so long. I picked it up. I bought it because of the title, and I keep picking it up, and I just am never like in the mood to sit down and read poetry every time I pick it up. So I've started it a couple times, but I really want to finish it this time. Next, I have Helium by Rudy Francisco. This was another one where I just saw the cover and I was really drawn to it. I really tend to go into poetry just looking and getting the vibe from the book, and then I pick them up. Or sometimes I'll see the author post about their book on like Twitter or something, and so I pick it up from there. But usually I don't really know much going into poetry books, like the theme of them or what they're talking about. Sometimes I do, but a lot of the times I'm just like going based off vibes. Next, I have this one I picked up because Langston Hughes. I really want to just read a complete collection by Langston Hughes. Every person probably in the American school system has read a poem or heard a poem by Langston Hughes because he's always there in the poetry section of an English literature class from probably in high school, maybe middle school too. So I really want to read a collection of just poems from Langston Hughes. So I picked up Blues in Stereo because this one is curated by Denise Smith and I love their poetry a lot. And that also brings me to the last book I have planned, which is Insert Boy by Denise Smith. I read, I believe, 3 maybe. Yeah, I think I read 2 or 3 of Denise Smith's collections last year, and every one of them was mind-blowing. So this is the one that I didn't have that I really wanted to go ahead and pick up so I could complete basically their whole collection. I have another one of their books, but I think it's like it was like an earlier work and a lot of those poems are in later books, so I don't really count that, but I'll probably read it anyways. But this is like the last one of just like completely new poetry of theirs that I plan to read. So that is what I'm planning to read this week. I hope I get to all of them. Wish me luck, and let's get started reading. LOL, you're probably like, Lydia, that wasn't 7 books. Yeah, it wasn't, because I forgot one because it was in a different place than all the rest. But I also am planning to read A Fortune for Your Disaster by Hanif Abdurraqib. Yeah, sorry about that. This is also on the list. I actually will get started reading now. Bye. Okay, I've made the executive decision to start with Finna. I have this whole elaborate little schedule of what I'm going to read for the rest of the week because I have a lot of books that I want to finish before the end of February. So I'm starting with Finna, and I'm finna see if Finna is on Libby. I need my glasses. I don't know why I'm acting like I can see anything. Okay, let's see. I feel like I'll get through the poetry faster, and I also find when it comes to poetry, listening to it really just makes the poems come to life. Oh, yep. Okay, cool. Finna is available as an audiobook from the library. Great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start Finna, hopefully finish it today. And then I'm currently reading Happy Place by Emily Henry, so I need to finish that this week too. So I'll be going probably back and forth between the poems in Finna and then back to that book, but that'll be in another vlog, either before this one or right after this one, so we'll see. But let's get started.
What you do to me, there's nothing left to see. You left me in the dark now, and I'm blended with disease. What you do to me, maybe it's my dignity. Made me rip that all apart now, and there is no remedy. And I'm like, oh, I don't know this goes, and yeah, I don't know where this ship will go. What you do to me, there's nothing left to see. You broke my heart in two. Now I'm stuck looking for you. What you do to me, maybe it's my dignity. You made me rip that whole apart now.
So I'm behind. I planned to finish my first book, Finna, yesterday, but I did not. So I'm behind, but I'm trying desperately to catch up. I have so much to read this week, but hopefully we'll get there. So I am 76 pages into Finna right now, and it is really good. Well, the back of the book says that this is a lyrical and sharp celebration of the Black vernacular, its influence on pop culture, its necessity for familial survival, its role in storytelling, and in creating the safety found only within its intimacy. I feel like this book is a lot about community, like community and culture, but even like community in the way, like community, I think sometimes can be like thrust upon you. There's some poems in here where I think they're usually titled Another Nate Marshall Origin Story, which is the author's name. And in a lot of them, he talks about other Nate Marshalls, people that have his name. And I think you can be in community with like a people you share a name with because names are so important. The way he uses names are also like a tie ancestrally, like where your name comes from, if it is coming from somewhere in your family line, if it's like a name that's given to you. My name was given to me, but it's from the Bible. But like that connects me to other parts of my family, because my mom got my name because I think one of my great aunts or something like that recommended the name, and then she used the name. Your name can tie you, you know, to your family, to your ancestors, but it can also tie you to other people. And we see that here, like the back of the book says, this book is a lot about language and Black vernacular. And I love the poems on Black vernacular. There's a poem in here called Slave Grammar that I really love. I just flipped to it, wow. And I love this line where it says, they kin, this no question, this answer ancestral. I love the sound of that. And then I love the last few lines where it says, we make shambles of their standards, we stand on them and fashion an abolition in diction. So good. There's like some lines I think that really just capture the book. So in this, what is this poem? Harold's Chicken Shack #2. There's a line that says, we have an intersection, and it goes on, but like just that line I feel like captures the book so well, because I think a lot of this book is about our intersections, and it's a lot about our intersections. I'm saying our, and I'm meaning like African American, Black Americans, and probably, you know, a lot of the diaspora, but really I'm thinking Black Americans for this book in particular. There's a lot of intersections, right? There's a lot of poems in here that are talking about the ways we intersect, and a lot of that happens through language, and a lot of that happens through like shared experiences. There's this poem, I'm trying to, do I remember where it was? It's about, he's talking about his grandmother, and it's sort of about like the things that like a lot of Black people can relate to. In my family, my mom didn't allow us to say the word lie. We would have to say telling stories or telling fibs. That's the name of the poem. The poem is called Telling Stories, and he talks about that, where like it's like this cultural thing. Lie is a cuss word. Lie was a cuss word for me growing up. I couldn't, and I still don't. I don't say lie in front of my mom, because for my mom, that's a cuss word. So I say telling stories, telling fibs. And so it's those like intersections, those things that connect us. So this book is a lot about culture and community and language and naming too, and family and ancestry. So I'm really loving it. I'm loving the language in this. Definitely feeling like 4 or 5 star vibes for this book. But it's really good. So definitely recommend. I'm going to go finish this, and then I will need to start on the next book, which I need to finish today to get back on track. So I'll finish this, and I'll be back with last thoughts and with the next book I'll be reading.
10 seconds later.
Okay, I'm back. I finished Finna. The sun is going down. It's getting dark outside. I can hear the neighborhood kids out there making noise. But Finna is done, and oh my gosh, I think the poems just got better and better as the collection went along. It like every poem was building on the previous poem. Earlier in the book, I was like, this is a 4 and above, definitely. I just didn't know if it was going to be a 5. Like, 5s, you know, 5s are weird. It's just like a combination of things. It's just too brilliant that it deserves nothing less than a 5. And sometimes it's just a heart thing. Like, my heart is just like, my heart is happy about it, and I'm like 5. I definitely connected with it. And also, it was just brilliant. The writing was really brilliant. Yeah, it was just such a good collection. And I star poems when I like them. And so by the end, I was just starring almost every poem. Is it Obeyed? Obeyed? I don't know, girl. Obeyed for the whole hood. And then Imagine, Which Art, What Fact, and Fit 11, Finna, and them. Like, all the last few poems were just hit after hit after hit. Not saying that any of the other poems weren't just good, but these were just like, they were bangers, just bangers. So good. So definitely, I'm thinking this might be a 5-star, and I think it's gonna be it is my first 5-star of the year. So Finna by Nate Marshall, definitely recommend. So next I will be reading Helium by Rudy Francisco. Again, this is one I don't really know what it's about, but I don't know, I really love the cover and I picked it up because I wanted to read more poetry. So this will be my next read and I'm excited to get started, and I really need to finish it today. So that's probably what I'll be doing for the rest of the day, is reading this and a couple other things, because I do have more stuff that I need to read today. But I'm gonna move on to this book. Y'all, I'm so tired. I'm so sleepy. I woke up at 5 this morning and I think it's 7 o'clock. I'm about to be asleep in the next couple hours. I'm so sleepy. It's all this reading, and it's reading across different books. That's really doing it. This morning I was reading romance, then I read a poetry. Now I'm about to read another book. Well, I'm in the middle of reading another poetry. Hold on, let me get the book. Okay. So we are... Is this shaking a lot? Because I really have you balanced very precariously. This is Helium. This is what I've been reading. I'm trying to get myself to finish it before the night is through, so I don't be too behind. I'm on page 55 out of about 98, I think. So I'm over halfway. And my thoughts are, there's an audience for this book. And I think that audience is younger. I think that audience is younger than I am. If you didn't know, I'm 27. And I think the audience for this book is maybe high school. High school students who haven't really read much contemporary poetry. Like, it's different if they, I wouldn't say like, because reading the poetry we read in school, that's just a different thing. But like, teenagers who want to get into poetry and haven't teenagers who want to get into poetry or who think poetry is hard to get into, I would recommend this for them, especially boys. I would recommend this for teenage boys who want to get into poetry and think getting into poetry, or poetry, all poetry is hard to get into and it's abstract. Yeah, I think this is for younger readers. I don't know, I didn't look to see if this is marketed as YA poetry or not, but it definitely feels like it was written for a younger audience. A lot of the poems just give me the feeling of reading like pithy Tumblr posts or inspirational posts on Instagram or something like that. Like, let me see if I can find you an example. So this one is called Good Morning. Good morning. Get out of bed. The day has been asking about you. It dragged the sun into your room this morning, pulled an entire disco of light through your curtains, hoping that all of this gleam would be enough to get your attention. This is how today says, notice me. Okay. Let's see. Let's read another one. This one is instructions. Gather your mistakes, rinse them with honesty and self-reflection. Let dry until you can see every choice and the regret becomes brittle. Cover the entire surface in forgiveness. Remind yourself that you are human and this too is a gift. This one is called My Honest Poem. I was born on July 27th. I hear that makes me a Leo. I have no idea what that means. I'm 5'6.5". I weigh 175 pounds. I don't know how to swim. I'm a sucker for a girl with a nice smile and clean sneakers. I'm still learning how to whisper. I'm loud in places where I should be quiet. I'm quiet in places where I should be loud. I was born feet first and I've been backwards ever since. I like ginger ale a lot. I've been told that I give really bad hugs. People say it feels like I'm trying to escape. Sometimes it's because I am. And so on and so forth. This is a longer poem, but we'll stop there. So, yeah. I don't think I'm the audience for it. I think this is probably for a younger audience, maybe. It just feels, I want to say, juvenile. Yeah, it feels young. The writing feels young. And there are some lines that really like capture my attention. I'm not gonna lie. There's like some way that things are put that I'm like, oh, I like how that is said, or I like how that was put, or I like the idea here. But yeah, I think overall, like, the poem just feel a little young for me. Yeah, so that's how it's going. I think right now it's just okay. It's just okay. So I really want to finish this tonight if I can keep myself from falling asleep. I do need to get my clothes out of the washer. They've just been sitting for like an hour now, and I have clothes in the dryer that needs to be folded, so I'm gonna go do that. Maybe drink a cold soda and wake myself up, and then try to finish this. And then we'll see. Maybe we'll be back by sometime tonight with a review, or tomorrow morning and with the next book. So I'm off to read some more. I finished Helium. Okay, I finished it. I think my thoughts are pretty much consistent, though I did think throughout the book there were some lines that really hit for me, which I think brought my rating up a bit. Like, I don't think any of the poems were bad per se. I just think, like I said, they're kind of like juvenile. But there were some lines in here and some poems that I really connected with. And that I thought were really good too. There's this one, this is in To the Man Standing on the Corner Holding the Sign that said God Hates Gays. And there's a line in it that says, sooner or later you will realize that you are praying to your own shadow, that you are standing in front of mirrors and are worshiping your own reflection. And I was like, wow. So I think at the beginning sections of this book, I was pretty confident in leaning towards a 3. But like I said, there were passages that really got me, and so I landed on a 3.5. So not a bad poetry collection at all, but just, okay. Just okay. So I'm going to be starting on 2000 Blacks next. I already read the first couple poems, and I can tell that I'm going to like this collection. This is by Ajibola Tolase, who is a Nigerian poet and essayist. So, and I think this won the Cave Canem. Yeah, this is the winner of the Cave Canem Poetry Prize. And I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Is it Cave Canem or is it Cave Canem or Canem? I don't know. But this is the next book. I'm excited to finish it. It's already like 4 o'clock. The sun is going down. I'm behind on other books I'm supposed to be reading. I'm technically not behind on this because I have to the end of the day to read it, but like I said, it's 4 o'clock, and lately I've been going to sleep at like 9, 10 o'clock, so I have to get a move on. But in other news, I just got some stuff in the mail. So first, I got a package from Barnes & Noble, and I think these are some CDs I ordered like a while ago that just were never showing up. I was starting to get worried that they wouldn't show up, but I got Paramore, the album, and I got Hopeless Fountain Kingdom by Halsey. Halsey's albums and Paramore's albums, they're like 2 artists that I think if you can you hear like the kids across the street yelling? That's so funny. Halsey and Paramore are artists that I think create albums that are really, they see them as projects and not just like songs and singles. And I think their projects, like when I'm listening to a Halsey album or a Paramore album, I love more songs than I don't love songs. And most of the time I love all the songs, or some songs are just like, I have to be in the mood for it, but it's not like I don't not like it, you know? So I'm really happy. I think do I have all the Paramore albums now? I think this might be the final Paramore album I needed to collect. I think I have all the rest of them. And I have a couple more Halsey albums to collect. I definitely want to get Manic. Manic is technically like, I have to rethink my ranking again, but Manic is either first or second for me. I just love, there's some songs on there that make me love the album as a whole more than the other albums. Like, there's some songs are so powerful that album has to be my favorite album, you know? But I think there's other projects that from beginning to end I like more songs, but Manic has songs that are just so special to me. So that is some CDs. And I also got this package, which is a literary magazine, and not just any literary magazine. This is a literary magazine that I technically work for. So I do freelance work, but I think my official title is assistant editor. And I'm an assistant editor at A Public Space. This is a literary magazine, one of the more well-known, better paying ones. And I started working there as a part of a fellowship, an editorial fellowship, and a part of that fellowship was that I got to edit one piece myself. I got to pick it. Well, I got to make a themed, like, open call for the piece. I got to read all the pieces, pick the piece I liked, and then edit that piece. And this is the issue that has that edited piece in it. So the story is called Where Are You and Where Is My Money? And it's by Uchoma Onwutwebe. She is a Nigerian writer, and her writing is literally so amazing. I definitely recommend just going out and finding her work. I'm trying to see where it is, what page it's on. There it is, 154. So she's a really amazing artist. Me and her are actually, we both have the same literary agent. I'm a writer, if you're new here, but me and her also have the same literary agent. That happened after this piece, working on this piece. But I love her. I love her writing so much. I've read other stuff that she's published in other literary magazines. She's a phenomenal writer. Definitely recommend. This is the piece. If you can see that. Yes, yes. It is literally so good. When I read it, when I was reading for the, because this is like the open, when I was reading for the open call, I saw the title and then I saved that piece to read for last because I knew it was going to be amazing. Because Where Are You and Where's My Money? Doesn't that just sound good? And it was good. So I absolutely love the piece. The open call was based off of epistolary. So I asked people to send me epistolary stories, which are stories that are written in like letters, texts, things like that, emails. And so this is written in emails, and when I say it's so good, it's so good. I love this story. Like, I think about this story all the time. I'm so happy that it's finally published. So if you did want to check it out, it's in A Public Space, issue number 32. And again, the story is Where Are You and Where's My Money? Oh, I'm so excited to read it again. I love this so much. All right, so I'm gonna go back to reading some more poetry, and I'll update you with my thoughts a little later. Bye for now.
The next day.
I finished it yesterday. Let me tell you. Hold on. This is crooked. Okay. Yesterday, let me tell you, I was so tired. I think it was just all the reading I've been doing for the last couple of days, because I literally have been doing nothing else. I haven't left the house in who knows how long. But I woke up yesterday and I was just like, I can feel that I'm not gonna be very productive today, and I wasn't. I read a little. of the other book I was reading, which is not even down here, and then I read like the first couple poems out of here. And that was pretty much all I did for the day. But today I was productive. I got up, I did some work for my editing thing that I do work for, and then I read from the book, the romance book I'm reading right now, which is going to be for a video. I read a little bit for the book I'm reading with my friend, and then I went ahead and read the rest of this, and this was good. I feel like the writing in here, I definitely prefer, like the writing in here is definitely better subjectively than Helium, but I feel like, I don't know, I was more connected with, or I was more moved by, touched by Helium than this collection. Like I feel like this is like objectively really good writing. Intellectually I was like, this is so good, but emotionally I don't think I was. And so I'm really like having a hard time trying to decide where this falls rating wise, if it's like a 3.5 or a 4, because I gave Helium a 3.5, and this book definitely, the writing is more. So I'm like, it feels wrong to give this a 3.5 when I gave that one a 3.5, but it's like that emotional part, you know what I mean? So yeah, but just to say a little bit about this, it is, well, let me read one of the blurbs. Imagine the land without the conflicts, writes Ajibola Tolase in his blazing debut 2000 Blacks from Nigeria to America. He explores the surrealness that arises from living in repressive spaces. Yet, despite the violence embedded in systems of power, the native word for burn is the same as dance. This is a necessary poetry that leaves no quarter unsinged. My brain is fried. Unsinged, a revelationist willingness to dwell in the unmatchable. So yeah, it's like, it really is looking at like Black history across the Black diaspora. So it was really good, and the writing in it was really well done. I did underline, I did make notes. See, writings, underlines. Where should I land with this? 3.5 or a 4? I'm gonna have to think. I have to think about it. Okay, but we persist. We move on. So the next book is Other People's Comfort Keeps Me Up at Night by Morgan Parker. I feel like this is very like pop culture themed, and every time I picked it up, I had that feeling, and it's very readable. So I'm excited to jump back into this, start it over, and like really take in the poems. So, you know, I'm supposed to be reading a book of poetry a day. Obviously, yesterday was a wash. I did start, but I didn't finish. So I was already behind. I'm still behind. So either tomorrow when I'm reading this one, I might try to begin another one, because technically if I read 7 books in 7 days, I started on Sunday. I need to finish by Saturday, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. So I might like start reading parts of Blues in Stereo, just so I maybe can catch up and actually finish this in 7 days. But we'll see. We move to the next. 2 down, no, 3 down, 4 to go. We got this. I will persevere. I will persevere. Okay, I'm getting loopy. I have some more to read tonight, but then I'm going to go to bed. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so I'm almost done with Other People's Comfort Keeps Me Up at Night, and I can't say I'm particularly enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it. It's just that the words are coming into my brain and going straight out. Like, there's a certain abstractness here that makes it harder for me to really connect with the poems. And it might just be, you know, I do feel like that these are the types of poems where I need to read the poem like 3 times. Like, I need to read the poem multiple times to really like even sort of get it. And first of all, I don't have the time for that. Second of all, I'm not a big like rereader. Like I either mostly get the poem, or the poem is so compelling enough that I want to reread it immediately. But I don't find that that's true for me. Like even though I don't get some of the poems, I don't, there's also just like not that connection there for me to want to reread them anyways, to like try to get them. Like some lines really like come through, and if I like spend a second with it in my mind, I'm like, oh, I think I get what like she's trying to say here. But for the most part, there's just like a certain abstractness that is distancing for me personally. Um and not to say I don't read abstract poems. I think I do. But there's just something about how it's done here, and maybe also like the angle of the poems. In the blurb, it says Parker bobs and weaves between humor and pathos, grief and anxiety, Gwendolyn Brooks and Jay-Z, the new school and reality television. She collapses any foolish distinctions between the personal and the political, the high and the low. Yeah, so sort of her angles, especially reality TV wise, anything like that, like I don't know, I there's not a lot for me to connect with personally. And I find that when poetry is when it gets to that level of abstractness, that can be distancing for a lot of readers. And I know that's why many readers who don't like to read poetry don't get into poetry, because of like the abstractness in poetry. Sometimes I find that if I can connect to the subject matter or connect to the author, that it sort of makes a way in my mind and I understand it somehow, some way, by the magic of the brain. But I'm just like, there's no real level I'm connecting to these poems on, and so the abstractness is like distancing even more so that way. I can like tell that, like probably objectively, that these are good poems, but yeah, I'm reading the lines and I don't think I'm really taking them in, really. So that's how that's going. I'm about to make a quick run to just get some food. I think maybe Dairy Queen, because I'm really feeling chicken tenders at the moment, and maybe like an Oreo Blizzard or something, or a Snickerdoodle Blizzard if they still have them. Yeah, that sounds great. So I'm finna run, get dinner, and then finish this book. And today is Saturday. It is the end of the week. Okay, I'm back. I have my food. It's Saturday, so that means new episodes of Solo Leveling, new episodes of Sakamoto Days, and I think a new episode of the Apothecary Diaries came out yesterday. So I'm about to chill, relax, eat my food, watch some good anime. I already started Solo Leveling. Oh my gosh. It doesn't make sense for a TV show to be this compelling, but I am in it, and it is so good. If you're not watching Solo Leveling, get into it. Get into it. She gonna die.
No, me too.
She gonna die. I'm getting one's groove back. Touching you on the shoulder is the most honest I've been all week. Desire, round and troubling, fits softly under skin. I write 1.5 on a chalkboard, meaning, for example, a man I love is in the room, but he is not touching me. If I moan louder, will it encourage you? Do you understand how the ocean contains like a box? Last night, M planned to stop drinking for a while because he is getting fat, and also because of the pills. He sees symbolism in his ex-boyfriend, carries genes of the divine. Even Don wants to move on. It's because of 9/11 that he's so goddamn political. He cries on my left sleeve about his uncle, the altered emotional psyche of our generation. Says, it isn't just the beer. This morning I feel my head getting screwed back on, blood more solid. I need to be touched while the dogs twitch and snore, wishing for something drastic, sweet and full of color. No one hears when I am spoken. I've tried to film this outro for the last 30 minutes. this will be the last time. But anyways, I finished Other People's Comfort Keeps Me Up at Night by Morgan Parker. And my thoughts are pretty much the same from yesterday, which is that I just felt at a distance from the poems. I didn't really connect with them. And connecting with poems is pretty much key to me understanding the poems. So really, half the time I just didn't get them. But I still think, you know, objectively, that the poems are probably good. The book is blurred by Tracy K. Smith, and it has an introduction from Danez Smith. So I'm sure it's good. And I just don't think it's for me. So I'm gonna land on a 3-star for this book. And I definitely would recommend it widely, but you know, every book has its reader, and I'm not the reader. So that is going to be it for the poems I read in today's video. And even though I came into this video wanting to read 7 books in 7 days, and I didn't do that, but I felt pretty accomplished, and I feel like I learned a lot about myself, how much poetry I can read in a short period of time. And I think it was a decent amount, and I'm glad to have ended Black History Month with diving into Black poets, and I feel overjoyed just ending the month off right. So in today's video, I read Finna by Nate Marshall, which I gave a 5-star, my first of the year. And I read Helium by Rudy Francisco, which I gave a 3.5. And I read 2000 Blacks by Ajibola Tolase, which I also gave a 3.5. And then Other People's Comfort Keeps Me Up at Night, which I gave a 3. So I feel like this has been a really good, really productive video. And I just want to read more Black poets. I want to read more POC poets in general. I never know what poetry to get when I'm in the poetry section. That loud car. I'm not starting this again, so it's just gonna stay in here. So I don't know. I never know what poetry to get when I'm in the poetry section. I feel like it's different for like literary fiction and romance and sci-fi and fantasy. I feel like you see recommendations for them everywhere, but unless you're like following poets, you don't really see a lot of poetry recommendations. So if you have poets you think I should check out, or poetry collections you think I would like, or just that you really like and you want other people to read, definitely put that in the comments below, because I just need a wider selection, and I need to know what I should be reading. I want to know what the girls are reading, and the guys, and the gays, and the theys, and everybody in between and outside. So tell me what you like. Tell me the poets you like so I can read them. I am really happy to end Black History Month with just like so much Black language and Black voices in my head. I had to pull out the, you know, the little fro to send the month off right. And yeah, so I hope you guys got some recommendations. I hope that you pick up some more poetry, some more Black poetry in your everyday lives. So like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.